You're watching Medical News Network, your trusted source for the latest in medical news and information. I'm Mike Wittgenstein, and thanks for joining us. On today's show, we take a very special look at two diseases that until the death of Green Bay Packer All-Pro lineman Reggie White had gone about their business in relative obscurity. So if you snore, toss and turn at night, are fatigued, have headaches, maybe even migraines, or something wrong that no doctor's been able to explain to you, then get ready to hear some life-changing information. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome to an educational and comprehensive discussion with today's top medical experts. Your trusted source for the latest in medical news and information. You're watching Medical News Network.
Welcome back. We're in studio with Dr. Leonard Feld. Dr. Feld's a nationally recognized authority on TMJ and sleep apnea and the founder and director of one of the nation's top treatment facilities. Dr. Feld, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I brought you on today to talk a little bit about TMJ, which is the jaw joint disorder that they're finding out causes all kinds of pains, from migraine headaches to numb arms and hands, and about sleep apnea, which, like I said, with the death of the Green Bay All-Pro lineman Reggie White, has really been pushed into the spotlight. And I don't know that everybody really knows what sleep apnea is or who has it and who doesn't. I talked to you about it. Most everybody thinks, well, I just snore a little at night and I roll over, or I wake up and I'm tired because I didn't get a good night's sleep because I tossed and turned. So tell me a little bit about what goes on and what is sleep apnea and what goes on in your body. What does apnea mean, by the way?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that, actually, because the word scares people and they don't know what it is. Apnea means, the Greek word basically is not breathing. And sleep apnea is referred to that same idea, and it's termed now that if you stop breathing for 10 seconds or more, you have apnea.
Do you stop breathing when you're asleep?
Right.
So I lay down, I go to sleep. While I'm sleeping, I quit breathing? Why would I quit breathing?
Well, if you have obstructive sleep apnea, there's obstructions in either your nose, your mouth, or your throat, and that clogs your breathing passage. And as you try and breathe harder, I got a good example for you. My daughter gave this to me. Let's say you have a straw, and a straw is kind of bent in the middle, and you try and breathe real hard. The more you try and breathe, the less air goes through it because it collapses. So the collapsing of the throat or the impingement of extra tissue in the throat creates a problem for you to get air.
How do most people find out? You told me that there's 20 million or 30, I don't remember the number you gave, was huge. How do people find out? What are some of the signs of apnea that I would know? Snoring? Is snoring one?
Yeah. I mean, there are signs and symptoms, and I can give you them. It's estimated that 1/3 of the population have some sort of a sleep problem. About 40 million people have a chronic problem, a serious problem, and 20 million people have a problem that's affecting their life drastically. In other words, their whole life is kind of going downhill. Some of the signs: first sign, you don't have to have obstructive sleep apnea if you snore, but it's a sign that can tell you that, or it's a symptom of sleep apnea, or of congestion in your throat or nose. Snoring is a sign. For adults, they could have depression, they could have anxiety, tiredness. They wake up tired in the morning. No matter what time they go to bed at 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It doesn't matter when they go to sleep, they wake up tired.
I can understand tired. I can understand, maybe being cranky because you didn't get to sleep very good. But you talked about hypertension, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression. How do you get those from not breathing a few times at night when you sleep?
Well, we're talking about not breathing a lot. People don't realize it because they don't wake up. They wake up, but they don't wake up. They don't remember waking up. Because
so it's kind of like somebody comes in, you're asleep, and they ask you a question, you answer them, and then when they talk to you later, you don't remember answering a question.
Exactly. They wake up, but they don't know they wake up. And there's basically stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 of sleep. That's what they call it in the medical terms. And then there's what's called REM sleep, R-E-M. That's rapid eye movement.
My daughter loves to come lift my eyelids and see if I'm in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, when you're in REM, there's only 3 muscles in the body that actually move. Everything else is paralyzed. When you're in REM, you are paralyzed, okay? So it's the eyes, the heart, and the diaphragm. Obviously, you have to stay breathing, so the diaphragm works. The heart has to work, otherwise she wouldn't, right? And for some reason, the eyes move. Okay. And the faster they move, that you're in REM sleep. Okay. So, and that we found out now that if a child, for instance, is not growing properly, or his face is malformed.
Yeah, so you told me about this, and okay.
Okay. That's when
Their little teeth are too small, or
well, if their jaw isn't right. And they have too many teeth for their little head, or their maxilla, the top of their jaw doesn't grow, and their lower jaw doesn't grow, or there's kind of a stunted growth that it's associated with sleep, because that's when the growth hormone is released, when they're in REM sleep. Okay, that's also the time that your body heals. It's also the time when when you're older, when your body stores things. Like a computer, the information you had from the day before, that's when it's put in. So people that have breathing problems, sleeping problems, start forgetting things. They think they're afraid to admit it or afraid to recognize it because they think they might have Alzheimer's disease. When it's basically their computer's not storing the information.
Because they're never getting to that level of sleep.
Super
you
deep
also
sleep.
told me that young children sometimes wet the bed if they're having their breathing obstructed at night.
That's one of the symptoms of, because they're so tired, they don't wake up, okay, in that particular period. And it's called enuresis, and they wet their bed. So that's a sign of obstructive sleep apnea, like grinding their teeth at night. Okay, that happens because when you grind your teeth, I'm making a face. Am I making a face?
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So when you grind your teeth, all the muscles in the throat get tight. Then you can breathe. Because
see, I would have thought it was exact opposite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, a child that has a sleep problem and doesn't sleep at night now gets in class and he's hyperactive. Well, that doesn't make sense, because an adult that has it doesn't sleep, he falls asleep at the wheel.
Right.
So it's a different mechanism that works with children than it does with adults.
Okay, real quick, because we have to take a quick break. But Reggie White is why I contact you. I love the Packers, I'll admit it. But he was actually under some form of care when he died from this. So is it something that is easily recognized? Is it something that's...
Well, it's easily tested for, yes.
Is it? And I know a lot of people are probably afraid of it, because we're going to talk a little about, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little about the treatment. And the treatments have changed, and I want to make sure that we present it right, but normally everybody's been afraid of the treatment for it, or what you had to do to survive with it. So when we get back, we're going to look at some new ways of taking care of the problem. You're watching Medical News Network. I'm Mike Wittgenstein. We'll be right back.
Whether you're expecting or looking for that perfect baby shower gift, we have you covered, baby, at PregnancyStore.com. Wear your pre-pregnancy pants a little longer and those cute maternity fashions a little sooner with the Bella Band. The Serenity Star Body Pillow is many pillows in one. It supports you while you're pregnant and makes an amazing nursing pillow. PregnancyStore.com. It's the one-stop shop for moms to be.
Welcome back. We're in studio with Dr. Leonard Feld talking about sleep apnea, the silent killer. All right, Doc, before we went to the break, we were talking about some of the signs, symptoms. You know, I found it interesting that you said that little kids don't sleep at night. They get hyperactive, like ADD. They wet the bed. They have other things. Adults don't. They get tired during the day. I told you that I had done a little research and found out there are more accidents on the